I want to thank Marianne, Teresa, Natalia for being here. And today we're going to talk about the beginning of this journey of mindset, communications, and emotions. So the purpose of this series of webinars will be about to revise and use coaching skills to perform better in life. And we will see what does it mean. It can mean many things, but it's really focused when we think about how do we engage with relationships or how do we perform at work, how do we work in our society. So we will eventually touch these points. So the first thing that I want to do is that I want to thank Natalia for being here, and also because she's part of this amazing organization and amazing project, which is called Youth Included. And well, this workshop is part of Urban Creatives, and it's a project on well-being, healthy nutrition, and minimal waste. The project is part of our networking for integration project funded by DZS and Solidarity Corps. So a big shout out for these guys for helping us, for organizing these projects, for being cooperating with people that want to do something for either the environment, people, well-being, health. So first of all, thank you so much. Without you, this couldn't be possible. And moving on, I wanted to tell you who am I and why you're listening to me and why I can say something to you. Well, my name is Luis Alfonso Reyes Aldaco. It's a long name. This is the Mexican way, I guess. And I'm a life coach and a human rights advocate. Back in Mexico, I was working for climate change. I started a plaintiff against a municipality of Irapuato to recover and protect some natural areas in Mexico. I came here to study my master on human rights and environmental protection. And at the same time, I was coursing my life coaching course. And also last year, I finished my master on life coaching. So I have been creating these two careers on me, which is to help the environment and to coach and help people. So this is a summary of who am I. And I want to welcome you aboard. For you who's listening this, I'm really happy that you're here. I'm really happy that you're listening this message that I have been working and being constructing for you. And what are we going to talk? It's about life coaching. We're going to finally talk about coaching. We're going to talk about happiness. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence. And we are going to talk in a not so depressive way what is the modern challenges that we are facing on as a society. Amidst the 21st century, we have many challenges that are causing us tremendous problems. One of those, of course, I cannot overlook and not mention, which is the ongoing pandemic. So, because of all of these reasons, I want to talk to you and I want to share this webinar with you. Also, for the people who's participating in this webinar, please let me know if there are so many questions. You can chat me like the questions, or you can unmute yourself and also tell me loudly what are the questions that you have or you may have. So finally, let's talk about what it is coaching, because there are many misconceptions, there are many ideas, and if you look in the internet and you Google what is coaching, you're going to maybe feel as lost as when you started. Because there's not a thing as a definition of coaching. It is actually really modern, really, let's say, young. It has only been here with us like for the last 40 years. And when we think about, for example, different studies like philosophy or chemistry, physics, who has been here for thousands of years, coaching, it is so modern and it's so in the process to evolve that there's not a definition of itself. But even though that there is not a definition, I want to tell you that what I perceive it is that it's a process. It's a process where you can channel your talent to reach your ideas and your dreams. And I think it's the best way to describe it. It's just a way. It's not even a methodology. I think it's a journey that you can use to channel your talent to reach your goals. And I want to show you that it's something really common for different disciplines. For example, when we talk about sports, of course, we can think fastly of coaches. We think about football and we can think about coaches, and also athletes have coaches. So there's this human nature of achieving more. I want to show you, for example, in the left image, how, for example, um, the velocity and the speed of runners has been so increasing that it actually defied the the trend of and the and the perception of what people were doing. So what I'm trying to say is that we have been achieving more, and it's because of this process. It's because of coaching people. And of course, as I said, it's really easy to understand when it's about sports. So why do we talk about coaching or life coaching? Well, there's a history behind, and I want to tell you that this person that you look here, his name is John Whitmore. And John Whitmore, with especially Timothy Galway, they started to do back in the 70s seminars and reunions where they were helping people, basically golfers, to improve the performance of their games. So when they were training themselves, they realized that this methodology of coaching was actually really successful. And Timothy Galway, he wrote many books about how to coach people to improve in terms of golf and skiing. But there was this moment when one of the participants of the webinar and of the seminar was actually a person who was in the board of IBM, and he realized that the power within the coaching was really powerful. So maybe there was a possibility to transfer this knowledge into business. So that was the first moment where coaching took a step. So it evolved from sports to business. Later on, people who were working on business and coaching realized that you can also apply the same skills, the same questioning, and the same methodology to apply it in your life. And that's how it created life coaching. But I'm here talking, I'm telling you many things, but it is still not really concrete how it works. So the way that it works, it's really simple, just by questioning you. And I think this is a remarkable heritage from Galway and from also Whitmore, because we are destroying thousands of years of philosophy who established that the teacher knows more than the student. And actually, we are so challenging this idea that we don't see ourselves as a powerful figure to the coachee. We are more a person who's giving company and who is only there to give the questions, to protect and to secure the environment where the coachee is going to develop. So imagine this. How is it possible that only by receiving some questions you are going to develop yourself? Well, as I said, we are basically thinking that you have your own answers within yourself. You know more of yourself than we can ever know. So there's no purpose. There's no meaning for us to lecture you about what you need to do. We only question to you. So in the end, we become a channel where you can know more about you. And that's really powerful for us because that's when the real changes appear. And we are going to see that we are defying also uh, thousands of years of education where the teacher told you what to do, your parents told you what to do, the society told you what to do, the market told you what to do, but you never listen to yourself. So that's why for me and for we people that we do coaching, we find it really powerful. So in summary, it's just a way to reach goals by questioning you. So why do we feel that we can reach more, and why is there's this idea and there's this concept of thinking that people can do more, and somehow if we only look at this we will be overlooking hundreds of years of psychologists telling you that there are traumas and there are these uh, concepts that make pain on humans. Um, and there's this determinism that tells that when you if you weren't raised in a certain way you will never reach happiness in your life, and so there was this deterministic approach to humans. So in back in the 40s, Maslow realized that that was not entirely true, and that there was another idea that we can also be improving our quality of life by what he called the saving or basically nurturing the steps in our life. For example, there was this physiological need, the safety need, belonging, esteem, and self actualization. So with him, it started a new concept of humans, a new concept and perspective that says that actually we can be more than what we are. We can do more than what we are, and we can have more that we right now we have. So there's this positive psychological foundations that coaching is based on. Also, we can say about Viktor Frankl or Daniel Goleman, also different authors from this branch of humanistic psychologists who also are talking about meaning of life and also talking about emotional intelligence. So we, in a certain way, we are touching a concept from psychology to understand our coaches and to understand people. And we can think about reaching many goals not only in our ways. Also, we can see that, for example, science it's always looking for performing better. There's no I cannot conceive that, for example, a lab will say, okay, so we're over, there's no more technology to develop, we are fine with this. No, there's always the need for more. Also in sports every year runners are being faster. There's this conception of the body which started like since the Romans, which is altius, itius, fortius, which means faster, stronger, higher. So also athletes have this knowledge or this need to reach more. And also we can think that business work always to think that they can gain more clients or they can sell more or they can expand their business. So there's always this, uh, let's say, feeling of trying to reach more. So because of that, we have been in the need of creating something. And with coaching, we feel like we are coping with these problematics. And speaking of problematics, I want to tell you that we as a society were facing many problems, but also as a generation we're facing many. And if you find yourself that you are sometimes depressed or you feel like there is something going on in life that it's not quite correct, it might be one of these reasons. And first of all, is that we need new leaderships. We are tired of this leadership of I will tell you what to do and that's all. We want more responsibilities. We want to participate more. We want to be taken into account. We want to be listened, and we want to be part of something. So we need new leaderships, and this is also what coaching can help. This is something that coaching is aiming. We can see it in politics. I don't know where you're from, but if you're from Czech Republic or from Eastern Europe, from Latin America, from Western Europe, from Africa, from Asia, I think maybe 99% of the countries in the world, they are actually dealing with poor leadership. And our generation is craving for new leadership. One of the biggest problems of CEOs globally is to keep talents in their businesses. Because as soon as we feel that we are no actually important, we don't want to stay in this place. So I think that's something that we need to talk about. And the other aspect, it's also that we are having troubles with ecology. And this is something that we know, and this is something that we are being affected, and this is something that it's not no longer just a movie or just a documentary. It's something that we are actually observing, feeling, and actually being in contact when we have longer winters and we have severe droughts and we have heavy rain seasons. So we can see that it's no longer just an idea; it's something real. And the most important thing for me is the meaning of life. I think our generation is lacking of meaning of life. And many people from different generations, they are accusing us or they are blaming us for not finding the purpose. And I want to say one thing, a disclaimer. I feel that other generations had it easier because the meaning of life was given to them. Either it was about following or worshiping a god, which was fulfilling the meaning of life. Maybe in the Cold War, it was about following either a capitalistic or a socialist economical point of view. So there was something to work. There was something to look for. There was something to fight for. There were enemies. There were this contact with God. But now we have nothing. We have nothing to reach. So we feel like, quote unquote, God is no longer with us. Or if you don't want to put these words, maybe you can say that there is no meaning. There is this void that it's always in contact with us. And there's this void that is looking at us directly and we are afraid of. So I think these three topics is what coaching can help the most, because in the end, as I'd said, coaching will help you to find the answers on you and to be more aware. And awareness is a topic that I'm going to talk later on. So, to before jumping into how does it work or what are we going to do or so, I want to make a little exercise with you. And I want you to visualize yourself in a certain street. I put an image here, but you can try to think of any other street in your head and imagine that you are walking, but someone is coming in the opposite direction to you, and this person is actually you. It's a better, stronger, more successful version of you. And I want you to look at it. I want you to stare into yourself. And I want you to ask yourself, how do you see yourself? How does it look? How does it walk? What is your other self being dressed? And now that you have it, I want you to think about it and to think in a way that you can digest slowly. What do you want for your future? What is what you want to achieve in your life? What is the story that you want people to say when you die? What do you want to leave as a heritage in this world? So I think this this idea, this exercise is going to help you to think, what do you want? Okay, so I want to start with the principles of coaching. And there is this fantastic formula that actually John Whitmore created, and it's about performance equals your potential minus your impediments. Call it obstacles, call it whatever you want to call it. But in the end, what I want to show is that think about any area of your life and think about how do you perform in these areas and analyze what is actually your actual potential, which is great and is greater, and think what is not letting you perform as you want. Think about you as a mother, you as a father, you as a worker, you as a sportsman, you uh, as a uh, person working for your society, or maybe also try to think about your health. What is not letting you? What is actually happening to you? Is it yourself that you're not letting yourself to be and to reach your full potential? Is any person doing that to you? Is it the situation? Is it the economy? What is it? Is it your mood? Is it your thoughts? Is it the past? Is it any emotion? So we're going to talk about these impediments. So what are the impediments? What we find is that we can categorize it in three ways. There are emotional, behavioral, ideological impediments. And actually, it's really important that we started with this one because we understand emotions as a key concept for humans. I'm going to jump into emotional, but I will come back. And I will tell you that emotions are part of our mind. And I put here consciously this person, Descartes, because this this philosopher, which is great, and I don't want to undermine his efforts to create a different world and to achieve a different world. I just want to say that when we start following his philosophy, we improve in some areas, but actually we undermine some other areas. What am I trying to say? When he says, quote unquote, I think, therefore I exist, we start thinking that being uh, logical was the only asset of humans. So, since we start thinking that, we overlook our emotions. Of course, this was a great invention. It was a great philosophical invention that boosts our science and other areas of philosophy. But in terms of society, we stopped or we tried to stop being emotional. And it was so relevant to not be emotional that in the last century we did horrendous things because we thought that it was only logical. So as we can say and as we can observe with, for example, Daniel Goleman and different authors, we started to understand that emotions are part of our mind, and they are as important as our knowledge or as any conception of our mind. So for us coaches, our first point of reference is emotions. When I'm working with someone, I'm always having in mind the emotions that this person has. And I'm not overlooking, and I'm not saying like, okay, maybe this is just the mood and that's all. No, I'm literally being serious, and I'm being careful of the emotions of this person. So emotions are really important for our life. And emotions actually determine what actions we are going to take. So, for example, this look at this image and try to think which actions she will take according to the emotions that she has. If she's happy, maybe she will burst in joy and she will be jumping around the floor. But maybe if she's angry, she might attack you or she might stop talking to you. If she's afraid, she might try to feel protected and try to maybe run. So the emotions that we have are part of an ancient, smarted system of thought that we had. When we are kids, we don't think, we just react with our emotions, and they protect us. When we are hungry, we don't think, oh, I need to eat. We just feel the need to eat. And that's why we're moved by our emotions. And even the term emotion, it means motion. So we don't overlook the emotions. We actually pay a lot of attention to our emotions. And I think this is something that we want to leave as a heritage as coaches, is that we want to create the awareness of your emotions. We're going to be here and we're going to ask you, how do you feel? How does this make you feel? How does action make you feel? How does this person makes you feel? When you don't have what you want, how do you feel? And this is something that we're going to work in these webinars. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go deep into your feeling. And this is something that is going to be really relevant for us. And going back, then we're going to talk about the behavioral. So there we have this idea of your body is your habit, right? Because when we talk about behavioral, we divide it in two things. We divide it into actions and into behavior. Actions are important, and actions are what, in the end, make us achieve what we want. Taking action is important, but having the habit is way more important. And it's just a recursive system because basically habits is a chain of actions. So actually, they are the same thing. But the concept, the idea behind is really important. Your habits, they are going to determine your success or your failure. And that's why I was saying that your body is your habit, because try to imagine this. Try to think how much you weigh right now. Try to think how much kilograms it says in the uh, I don't know how it's called, like the yeah, like
Scale.
the scale. Yeah, think the scale. So in the scale, you cannot do anything right now to change it. Like if I go right now to the scale and check how much kilograms do I have, I cannot take any action to change it, right? What the scale is telling me, it is just showing me a picture of my habits for the last at least 2 3 years, let's say, right? So when we want to change deeply our life, we need to think also about our habits. We need to think about, what am I investing? Where is my attention? What am I doing? What are the daily actions that I'm taking that are actually getting me closer to my goals? That's why actions are important. It's true. But when you create a consecutive chain of actions, then you're in the other side. You are closer than ever to reach your goals. And we are talking about body weight. But what about talking about a healthy, loving, caring relationship with a family member, with the environment, with your coworkers? What about this? How does it feel to be in contact with a family member and to create some good habits with them? To reach them and say, like, hey, I want to do something with you this weekend. And you do it consecutively. And not to think it as an habit and just like I will do it because I need to do it, but to think as to working for this relationship, to improving, to nurture this relationship. So this is the second impediment that we find, the actions. So we have talked about emotions, actions, and what does it mean, ideological impediments? Well, you are not your thoughts. And the thing is that the way that we are wired is that we learn, and it's difficult for us to unlearn the things. When our parents told us when we were children that the world was difficult, then we stopped listening to that maybe. But somehow this idea fall in the bottom of our brain or the bottom of our mind, and it's stuck there. And it root as a plant and it grow. And now I see my life as a problem, and I see my life as a bunch of obstacles in my life. Or maybe my mom told me that money was difficult to get. Or maybe my father told me that living free was difficult. So we have many misconceptions, or we have many ideas that are actually not allowing us to reach our full potential. Think about how the educational system is molding people. And not only educational system, the culture, the society, the economy is molding people. And we don't even think about it because it's so common for us that becomes invisible. And also because we are surrounded by people who think the same, that we don't even dare to start defying our thoughts. For example, I have been encountering many people from Slovakia and Czech Republic, and they think really different than me. And that's the only moment that I realize how Mexican I am. And how many or how much of this ideological Mexican thinking is actually rooted here in my brain. And in the same way, I can let them know how different they are, and somehow they also realize how Czech or Slovak or any other nationality they are, because it works until you reach someone who thinks different than you, that you say, "Oh, this is just a thought." So I want to let you know this. So how are we going to get detached from these thoughts? Well, only when we are aware. And this is maybe the most important thing of coaching, that we become aware. And just we become so aware that we are aware of our awareness. And God knows that this sounds funny, but it means that we are aware of our thoughts, we are aware of our body, we are aware of our emotions. And when we become aware, we can do something for the world, for our lives, for everything. When we become aware, we become so conscious that we can start molding responsibility, or we can say, well, actually, this is my responsibility. This is something that I can change because I am aware of this. So awareness, it's so important because it allows us to take some actions. When we become aware of the emotions, the negative emotions that we hold still, then we can work with them. We can observe them and actually do something for them. I have been working with people that they are carrying this burden of resentment for many years, but they never spoke about it. It was invisible for them. So when I ask them, like, why is it for you difficult to have this relationship with your parent, with your mother, father, where we are talking, and then suddenly it just hit them that there is something that they are still carrying. So awareness is going to be the key concept for us. So I want to ask you, what I want to ask you to use awareness to ask you this, like, what is not letting you reach your full potential? And I want you to think about something. I want you to think about anything in your life, either if it's economically, or if it's emotionally, or if it's something with a relationship, or it's something from your own self-esteem. And I want you to have it in your head, in your mind, and you say, what is the emotion that is not letting me to achieve this goal? What are the actions or the lack of actions that are not letting me to reach this goal? Or what are the ideas, the beliefs that are not letting me to reach or to fulfill my life as I want? So this is something that I want let it sink, think about it. You don't need to answer to me, but this is already coaching. I'm giving you the questions, and that's all that I want to do for you. I'm not responsible for you. I'm not responsible for you to become better. My only responsibility is to give you the questions and to be here with you. And that's all that I can do. And that's all that I should do. So I really want to thank you for being here. I know that this video will be saved in the website. So I want to thank you. If there are some questions, I would love to listen to them and to try to um, fulfill them as they should.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so first of all, I would like to thank you for this webinar. It was super nice, pretty touching and powerful. And I wanted to ask you something related to the very beginning. When you said that we can do more, do you think we are forced by the society to always do more? And don't you think that actually many of these life coaches always kind of forced us to do more, be more, etc.?
Yeah.
And do you think this is good, or
No.
yeah, what do you think about this?
This is actually an amazing question, because this is something that we coaches, we have analyzed a lot. I think we divide ourselves into action coaches and emotional coaches. There are some that they focus on just results and results and results, and they are going to ask you, like, why don't you just do it? Like, it's going to be really, really straightforward, the question, right? And there are some coaches that they are trained to be strict and to keep with your goal. If they say, like, okay, my goal was to lose 10 kilograms, they will say, like, okay, but do it, do it, do it. And I think, as you said, it's part of, I think
Yeah.
okay, so there's also, as you said, like, there's a society which is telling us to do more. I'm not trying to say that. If I kind of got understood in this way, I apologize. What I'm trying to say is that you can do more of what you want and what you like and what is making you happy. I'm not saying that just fall in the wormhole of being working and that's all. I'm just saying that if you want to do your passion, you can do it more. It's just my perception, right? It's not like I have the Bible and that this is all. But I am really aware of what you say, and actually that's why also I'm really thankful, because you are also, as I said, like, raising this concern that modernity, or these modern times, are telling us that we need to be super productive and we need to work many hours a day, and we need to just post our life in Dubai and into some random areas in our life. And this is per se not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, like, you have your own answers and you have your own dreams, and coaching can help you to really reach what you want, or at least it's a channel. There are many channels, there are many ways. People were doing also before coaching, they were also reaching uh, different levels of performance without it. But I feel like it's a really secure and nice way of achieving things. I hope that my response was fulfilling your question. Oh, anyone else who has a question?
Hello.
Hello?
So I actually have a question, but like first, of course, I'd like to thank you for this. Like, I mean, I registered for this webinar and I forgot about it, and then today I was just having a quite a terrible day, and I was questioning like my career choices, and I don't know, I'm someone that believes in science, and so I have a question. Like, how do you get your clients like to know what they truly want? I mean, like, I feel like there's very little opportunity for us to actually like, I don't know, have that conversation with ourselves where we know where we want to be or what success means to us. Because like we're always surrounded by people or like we're on our phones, and I feel like it's so hard to actually truly know what you want and like separate that from what you've been influenced to kind of believe that you want. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, how do you get I mean, of course, without revealing any of your industry secrets, but
No, there's no,
I
there's
mean, like, how do you like get started on that? Like, get your like, how do you know what your client wants, or how to, like which direction to push them in? Like, if it's emotional support that they want, or if it's like maybe a bit more of a push to achieve their goals, or do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I mean, where do they get started?
yeah, yeah. That's also an amazing question. I never know what they want, and I don't need to know, and I don't need to know. There's no meaning for me to know what they want. I mean, in terms of like in the beginning, right? I will not start saying like, okay, so you want this. I'm just a channel in a way that I'm just ask them. I just ask them, and if I do something, it's just to listen to them, and I'm really careful when I'm listening. I pay all my attention to see if there is something that maybe they are, as you said, maybe trapped, and I just ask them. For example, they say like, yeah, and I see that some people are doing this. So then I question them about what is the power of society or these people towards them. So it is like when you are in, and correct me if I'm wrong because my English is not my native language. So, but I would just say it as when you are giving born a baby. So I'm just there, the person is already, let's say, pregnant. So the person has already here the goal, the dream, and I'm just helping this person as a channel to allow himself to be his true self. So I asked him, as I said, about the power of the society, and I asked him uh, consciously, where does he or she visualize himself in the future? What is it making her happy or his or him happy? So I think it's a different approach. I'm not telling that person, I'm listening to that person, and I think that's really powerful.
Thank you. Okay, I have another question. So, how did you decide to get into this? I can imagine this isn't a very common career choice, and you don't really hear about this when you go to school. So, what made you decide to?
I think after being suffering in my life, after having so many dreams and having none of them fulfilled, I was getting desperate. I was getting depressed. I was getting in a point of my life that I was not happy at all. There was this really difficult moments in my life that I decided that I couldn't anymore, So thankfully, and as you say, like, I don't know, everything happens for a reason. Thankfully, I enrolled for, it was not a coaching program, but it was a leadership program based on coaching. And that's where I just fall in love. I realized that there was something here. There is something that I was craving, and it's a purpose in my life. Uh, And I think this is also a powerful thing, that we coaches, we sometimes we push our clients, our coaches, to be the heroes from their lives. And that's something that we want. We want to be heroes. We want to do something for our life. We really want to grab this life and to do something with it. But sometimes we don't know how. So first, coaching is helping me a lot. Honestly, I feel like if I live in a different country and I have the beautiful family that I have and I am working in my company, it's great, and it's because I have been absorbing this information. But for me, most important is to give this to people, because this is actually what makes us happy, to give. You know, you can translate it into money, of course. Like the more that you help, the more money that you get. But actually, the most important thing is that the more that you help, the more happiness that you have in your life. And when you share your dreams, it's a circle of happiness, and you are bringing happiness to some people, and also this is bringing you happiness. It's an amazing circle. So I think that's why it, it was a coincidence, maybe, but a beautiful one.
Cool. It was lovely listening to you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And as a coach, I'm always needing to ask. May I ask you, Mariam, where are you from?
I'm originally from Egypt, but I grew up in Dubai and then I moved to the Czech Republic to study. So
Okay.
been a bit all over.
Okay. I'm asking this for two reasons. One is sort of a statistical, because I mean, Natalia can agree with me here that this project is to first reach expats, second to help expats, and to let's say cope better with this Czech environment. And the second one is because for me it's always an honor to be in contact, to let's say touch the mind of people who is a foreigner. So you because of your background, your exposure, you have a different way of thinking. You have a different. I'm not saying that it's wrong or bad or
No,
good.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So that's why I was asking you, and it's an honor to have you here. It's an
Oh,
honor to talk to someone so different and so unique as you.
likewise.
Mhm. Yeah. So um, this is more or less what I wanted to say and to give you guys. And we're going to be working on it for 5 more weeks. I don't know, Natalie, if you have any question or we can wrap it up.
I don't have any questions. It was very interesting. Thank you.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, I again want to thank you for being here and for attending this webinar. We will try to fix the settings, and maybe we'll try to also broadcast it through Facebook. But thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. So thank you, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Is it still recording?
Yes, and you need to stop the recording as a host.
How can I do that?
Just leave the room.
Stop share? No. Stop share. I will stop sharing and then I will pause.
Yeah.